Good morning Westworld fans, Stevo here. Hope you're all having a fantastic Thursday out there. All my American viewers and American friends, happy Thanksgiving. I hope you're all having a fantastic day with your family. You're going to have a fantastic weekend ahead. Don't get crushed in the Black Friday sales, guys. It's about 20 past 12 here in the UK. It's a fairly mild autumn day, a bit gloomy, but it's not too bad. This video is coming a little bit later than I expected. I had to take my daughter for a haircut. This is my youngest daughter for a haircut this morning. So that was a bit of an experience. She's only 18 months, bless her. So that was pretty interesting. Obviously it's Thursday, so that means it's Westworld theory time, guys. Before I get started, I want to welcome all the new subscribers. Love you all, guys. I've blown past 100 subscribers this week. I've blown past 25,000 views, and it's all down to you guys. You're absolutely brilliant. Keep them peeled for the end of this video. There is a prize for one of you lot. It's a good one. First of all, this video, I was just having a conversation in the comments with Adam Kondracki. You know who you are, buddy. This video is down to a conversation that we had following Trace Decay. And also, I want to just give a quick shout out to IxelPixel eBay store. You know who you are as well, buddy. He suggested a very long time ago in the comments that Bernard was a host. He was absolutely bang on, and him just putting that one sentence in my comments prompted all my research. So shout out to those two guys. You are the best. Thank you for subscribing. Thanks for your comments. I love talking to every single one of you. But let's crack on. Now, myself and Adam, after Trace Decay, we're having a conversation. And this week's video for me, after we saw Dolores' memories, going back to the town that's buried, but Ford has just dug up, we saw the lady teaching Maeve and the others to dance. Now, I was positing right there and then that maybe Arnold is a woman. Maybe it's Jeanette Arnold, or I don't know, a female name. But I can't really give that much evidence, and I can't really find a basis for a whole video for that. So that's kind of gone on the back burner. While I was looking for this, myself and Adam were having a conversation, and him and his friend were having a conversation, and he suggested that maybe, obviously we know that Bernard is Dr. Ford's killing machine. We don't know who Arnold is. We know that he died. But maybe, just maybe, Dr. Ford was Arnold's creation. Maybe Dr. Ford is a host. Now, we know that the Man in Black, when they're having the meeting with Teddy that showed the knife that I did the video about last week, we know that the Man in Black says to Dr. Ford, I wonder what would happen if I opened you up. Dr. Ford didn't really say a lot to this. Now, the basis of this theory is pure speculation. I'm not saying it's definite. But what if Arnold created Dr. Ford to be the face of Westworld? To, obviously the hosts are a lot more intelligent than humans. To create more hosts. If he made Dr. Ford to be the original host, to run Westworld, planted him with memories, and Dr. Ford purely believes that he is a human, and he has then gone on to make Bernard to be his head programmer. What if Dr. Ford is Arnold's Bernard? Now, we don't know a lot about Arnold at this point. We do know that he had a family tragedy. We do know that myself speculated that Bernard is uploaded with Arnold's consciousness. Now, obviously Dolores, she hears voices and she hears female voices. So this is what kind of led me to speculate that maybe Arnold was a woman. Now, we know the Man in Black and Dolores are searching for the centre of this maze. We know that it's Arnold's maze, and we know that the Man in Black says when they find in the middle, they will find the real game. So Man in Black said that Ford's game is like the outer wall of the maze, and then the inner maze is hosts with consciousness, and that's where the real game's at. Now, we saw a lot of interesting stuff. I know it was kind of a filler episode, but we saw a lot of interesting stuff regarding the Man in Black this week in Trace Decay. Now, I have been searching and searching for evidence that Dr. Ford is a host. What I can find is pure speculation, but the way he talks, the way when he's having a conversation with Bernard, it's always, we aren't like the humans, or the humans don't do it like this. And when he was talking to Bernard this week about humans having loops and stuff like that, sometimes he has a wedding band on, sometimes he doesn't. Now, whether that's a foresight on the actor's part, I'm not sure, but I doubt Anthony Hopkins is that unprofessional. And obviously it can happen, but it's a Jonathan Nolan show, and anything with Jonathan Nolan creates, we know to be looking for little things like wedding bands. So I don't think that's a foresight. And whether Dr. Ford is a host created by Arnold to run the show, and Arnold's not really dead, and he's at the centre of this maze. Maybe Arnold's Wyatt, I've heard. But I really, part of me thinks if Dr. Ford is a host, maybe that's a little bit too much. But if he is a host and he's been given this god complex by Arnold, there's literally no reason for him to suspect that he is a host. Whereas Bernard obviously now knows the end game for Ford hasn't come. And this is, for me, this could work because we know that Dr. Ford is 10 steps ahead of absolutely everyone. 10 steps ahead. Now, we know that Sizemore and the girl from the board went to upload all this stuff into Peter Abernathy. Now, obviously, that was a big mistake because Abernathy has already gained his consciousness, and I think Dr. Ford is 10 steps ahead of everyone else. How has this guy got the intelligence to be 10 steps ahead of everyone else? Why, whenever he sees, we can see him researching stuff about the maze, and is that because he's trying to find out more about Arnold? It's pure speculation, guys. I'm not sitting here and saying Dr. Ford is definitely a host, but the way he talks, the conversations he's had, and the way he's so blasé with Bernard, and the way he is very uncaring, and is always very flippant and always very dismissive of Bernard's memories. We know that's because we now know Bernard is a host, but it is completely possible that Dr. Ford, excuse me, I had a comment this week, it was quite funny. I'm not a shill for Coca-Cola. I'm a little YouTuber with just over 100 subscribers who comes up with batshit crazy theories and does TV reviews. If Coca-Cola want to start paying me, that's absolutely fine. But they don't. I'm not a shill for Coca-Cola, I just like the stuff. You see me with coffee, Nescafe, Monster, all kinds of stuff. I'm not sponsored by anyone. But anyway, Dr. Ford, I'm really sorry I can't give you more evidence on this, guys. Obviously, myself and Adam had a good chat about this. And if you look at Dr. Ford, there's a lot of parallels with his narrative so far and with Maeve. And obviously, in the last episode, we saw how Maeve got her consciousness. And Arnold always knew that it was possible that these hosts could gain their consciousness by having some kind of ordeal. And the man in black decided to see how much of a monster he could be, and in that process he saw Maeve have a little bit of humanity. And then they brought her back, and Ford and Bernard were trying to calm her down, and she jammed herself in the throat. Now, the parallels with her narrative and Ford's is very similar. Maeve is gaining her consciousness, and Ford is running the show 10 steps ahead. He's got a hell of a god complex. I think the only way, it's really, really possible that Ford gained this god complex because that's how he was programmed. I think it would be very interesting. Someone else last night asked me, are we going to see Dr. Ford in William and Dolores' timeline 30 years ago? And I said to this, believe it's a young lady, I believe that we will see Dr. Ford, but I'm not sure if it will be a younger Ford or we'll just see Ford as he is now. It could be that there's 2 or 3 versions of Ford. But I believe we will see Ford in William and Dolores' timeline, but I believe we will see Ford as he is now in the present, due to him being a host and him being Arnold's Bernard, if you get my drift. I'm pretty much, I got the Bernard as a host thing right. Pretty sure the multiple timelines and Williams is the Man in Black thing right. So if I'm not right about Ford being a host, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, baby, meatloaf. But I just wanted to get this over there. There is this theory going around But Dr. Ford could be a host. I've given you what tiny bit of evidence there is. The way he talked about humans and hosts. The way Man in Black said what would happen if I open you up. The way Arnold would need somebody to front the park. The way that he's very dismissive of conversations about Arnold. He said he's killed and Bernard wasn't around then. But obviously this would kind of mess up the Arnold being in Bernard's consciousness. But I believe they could go hand in hand. Because I believe that Arnold's consciousness is in the older host, Dolores, Bernard. Maybe it's in Ford as well. But, yeah. This is probably one of the stretchiest theories I've done so far, guys. So, forgive me if I'm completely wrong. I really enjoyed the conversation that I had with Adam about this. And if you look in the comments for my last review, you'll see the conversation we had. I've probably missed out a load of stuff that we talked about, because Adam's got buckets of knowledge on the show, more than me. Obviously we both love the show, but this guy, he sees things that I don't. I've thought about Dr. Ford being a host, and I'm kind of a little bit convinced. I think there's more evidence for that than there is my Arnold being a woman theory that I was going to do. But let's watch this week's episode, guys. I'll review it Monday, and let's come back to this next week and see what we find out before the finale. Like I said before, please subscribe, all you new subscribers, share with your friends if you all like Westworld. Give us a like, give us a share, follow me on Twitter at @ElderFox. I'm on Instagram, elstevo. Yeah, follow me and let's have a chat about Westworld, because I absolutely love it. This is elstevo, happy Thanksgiving, have a good weekend, peace.